Hi everyone, wanted to give a quick overview of the S8 Plus running Android 8 beta. My battery is quite low, so I'll keep this quite short, or as short as possible, but initial impressions are very good. There are various improvements over Android 7 on the S8 Plus. A lot of people thought the S8 Plus would never be as smooth as the Note 8 because of the extra 2 gigs of RAM on the Note 8. Now, that's all been put to rest now because this is actually as smooth as, if not a little smoother than the Note 8 running Samsung Experience 8.5 because we're on Experience version 9.0 on the S8 Plus running Android Oreo. So I'm guessing 9 will come to the Note 8 once that comes out as well, and that will be even faster still. But so far, it's amazing what Samsung have managed to do with just 4 gigs of RAM with everything else running in the background as well. I didn't do a fresh install or a reset or anything like that. I just installed an upgrade on top of what I had before. So all 104-ish apps and Nova Launcher and so on and so forth, all the social networking and stuff like that. That's all running in the background, syncing away. And I've also got to Exchange Office 365 accounts. So there's no power savings or tweaks or anything done to improve things. It's just as I would normally use it, and my experiences so far of that. Interesting to note that security patch level is on the version from September. Would have expected that to be on an October release at least, given how long Samsung have been working on this. But hey, that's what it is. Other differences are in, well, it's mainly deep down stuff because Android 8 never really was a visual change, and Samsung's Grace UX or Samsung Experience works quite well. So it would have been unfair to expect them to change that. So you don't really have any differences here at all. Maybe a few differences to what quick setting tiles you can add and so on. But other than that, everything else is mostly the same. You do get Oreo's truncated notifications now, which is quite cool. You don't get so much wasted space anymore. Although these persistent notification bars cannot be removed, you can only tweak them a bit. But there are third-party apps which will remove them or hide them for you. But I quite like seeing how many apps are running in the background or what's consuming battery and so on. So that's just pretty cool. Um, Settings wise, not really much has changed. Some people have said there have been some options moved around and so on, but I haven't really found any differences there. Navigation bar, you still can't select a black option. Mine is still black just because I was using Substratum before on Android 7 and that somehow carried over. So my search bar, my keyboard, the nav bar when the keyboard is open is black, which is quite welcome. So I'm not going to touch that just in case it resets it and it goes white again because I can't stand that. And mainly because Substratum currently is not supported on Samsung's Oreo beta. It wants you to download another app which you've got to pay for, which I don't really want to do because I've already paid for the Samsung integration plugin. So I'll just wait for them to be updated. Then I can get my dark theme back on all my apps and system UI. But for the time being, initial impressions are very positive. Performance is much improved. Not that it was slow to begin with, but there were some instances of micro stuttering when you pull down the notification bar or when you swiped to the Google Now pane, or when you loaded up the dial pad during a phone call. Now it's perfectly smooth whether you're in a call or not. And also the dial pad is black when you're in a call. I can't show it now because it's going to cut out the microphone if I launch a phone call doing that. Um, but otherwise, everything else has been a really pleasant experience. The only things that don't work, or actually bugs first, so I use an older version of QuickPick. So for some reason, text is pink, and I can't find an option to change that. I've changed the themes and so on as well, so it's probably just an incompatibility with the older version I'm using of QuickPick. Solid Launcher or Solid Explorer, sorry, cannot see my SD card. I've got a 200 gig SD card in there and it can't see it for some reason. If you browse to it, you can access stuff within it, but you can't write to it, so it just says access denied. Checking the Google Plus page for Solid Explorer, it looks like they haven't updated to support Oreo yet, so probably have to wait for that. in the meantime, Samsung's My Files works fine, so I'm using that to do any SD card stuff for the time being. Um, Android Pay doesn't work. Whenever you go to pay for it with a card that's already saved in it, you get this message pop up. And also you can't add any more cards because it thinks you're on a custom ROM or you're rooted or something like that. So we probably need to wait for an update for that to work. But in place of that, you can use Samsung Pay, which does work. So that's pretty cool. Um, that's pretty much it. Everything else is deep as under the hood changes really, and battery life I can't comment on because it's only been less than a day, so I'll wait a couple of days at least to gauge what battery life is like through the average day. Android 8 was always a under the hood update rather than a visual change, so no one should be expecting any sort of massive changes to themes or anything like that. Everything else is done via Substratum or the built-in theme engine. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching.